Many questions about my images are about post-production, as well as photography. Some techniques can also be done in camera, but which is best? The answer very often is down to personal choice and what hardware and software is available to the photographer. With advancements in technology, this is true about Keystone correction, that is, correcting converging and diverging verticals in buildings when a camera is pointed up or down from horizontal, particularly with a wide-angle lens. This is an optical distortion, something the eye does not see, and whilst it can be considered artistic, it can make a building appear to be falling over. This came to a head with my recent program about architecture. Here is one of my shots taken inside Durham Cathedral, as it appeared in the program. Now compare it with the same shot out of camera. There are many problems when taking photos inside churches and stately homes, and not only converging verticals. There is a variety of different light, making exposure difficult. Tripods may not be permitted, and the savvy photographer will look for times when the building is largely devoid of people, requiring research before leaving home. For clarity, I have put a copy of the image in its own folder. As I have saved to RAW, when I double-click the file, it will open automatically in Adobe Photoshop, the layout showing the RAW converter options. I spot-metered near the rose window, a skill that comes with experience. If the window was larger, illuminating more of the interior, things would be different, as well as time of day. For now, the interior is underexposed, the window overexposed. Also, with the superb image stabilizers in both camera and lens, I can hand hold at 1/5 of a second at 200 ISO. I leave white balance on auto. This I can change later. Each image is treated individually, changing profile, white balance, highlights and whites, shadows and blacks, and vibrance and clarity. I am not bothered if the histogram does not look right. Churches are naturally dark places, and it is more important to preserve the mood and atmosphere. Moving down the panel, we come to crop and geometry, where images can be straightened. I try presets first. Auto nearly gets it right. Level straightens the horizontals, but it makes the pillars lean back again. Vertical and full are best for this photo. Vertical upright gives finer control, but when I am not happy with presets, I tweak the sliders. Remember to tick constrain crop, otherwise your image will be framed by a blank border. Click open and corrected photo appears in main Photoshop window, where I prefer to crop the image to make the nave central and change the ratio to 16:9 for YouTube. It is here I can choose to sharpen or reduce noise in the image if necessary. When saving, I can choose full resolution or reduce it for YouTube. Otherwise, everything will grind to a halt, especially if the audience signal is weak. Before leaving, let's look at the special folder I created at the start of the program. You will see the addition of the JPEG copy, but also an XMP file, very important. This contains the changes made to the RAW file, which it does not overwrite, before saving to JPEG for the client or job. When opened, Photoshop will add the XMP sidecar file with the changes, but delete that XMP file and the RAW file will revert to the original image out of camera. For this reason, once the JPEG has been used for the job in hand, I archive the raw file with the XMP sidecar for future use, retaining my original thoughts. There are other ways of correcting verticals and exposure. HDR, for example, but I prefer this method as I find it easy to backtrack if I make a mistake or change my mind 6 months later.